Okay, so this is our. Is this working? Okay. This is our presentation about our scout troop, Troop 104 of Madison, Wisconsin. And this will be just kind of our history and just about the troop, as well as its general operations, and then stuff about the BSA itself. So next slide.
So our history, our troop was founded in 1954, and we've had total of, there we go, 75 Eagle Scouts over all the years, 33 total Scouts right now across every rank from Scout to Eagle. We have a huge diversity of age of Scouts in our troop. So me and Felix are the oldest. Actually, he's older than me. But Felix is 17, I'm 16, and then we have Scouts all the way down to some that are in 5th grade right now. And they go from, as it says, not even yet Scout rank to their life, Kieran's life as well. We have 23 adults helping the troop. They're all great adults. They help us plan the outings and get us to the outings. It's very helpful. The majority of Scouts are middle school, with many in high school and a handful in late elementary school. As I was saying, we have a huge range diversity. It's largely a boy troop, but we are inclusive and open to a girl troop, and there are already some LGBTQ plus members. So we are very accepting in our troop, and I like to think we have very open minds. And because we have such a big diversity, it helps us see a whole range of viewpoints and ideas. Oh yeah, I'm Milo.
Like all of them. So the Scout oath is like, on my honor, I'll do my best to whatever. It's like I'm not gonna say all of them, but yeah, it's like a oath onto how like you'll conduct yourself as a good scout. The scout law is like 12 adjectives a scout should be. Again, I'm not gonna say all of it. Yeah, we're scout led. A lot of stuff is organized by the scouts. We have the senior patrol leader and the assistant senior patrol leader, which are like the main leaders, and each patrol itself has a leader. And the patrol leaders, their main job is to help the scouts in their patrol like advance in rank. So they sign off requirements in their books. Like I'd say like 3 months, we have a green bar, which is where it's a meeting where the scouts decide on like dates for things, what future events will be. Yeah, so the scouts in the adults do help a lot, but the scouts in our troop take a leading role in organizing the events.
Outdoor programs in our troop. We often go on camping trips. It's usually about once a month throughout the year, and we go to a wide variety of places, usually in our state. But once a year, we have a special trip that's a little bit longer, and it's for older scouts with more experience in the troop, and it's like a high adventure trip. They're more advanced. We do often like something like a long like kayaking trip, or like last year we went up and we climbed some 14ers in Colorado, and we go to like the scout camps like Sea Base. And once a year in June we go to a camp up north in Rhinelander, and It's called Cape Tisomus, and we go there for a week every year, and it's a great opportunity for scouts to work on their requirements and merit badges, and it's a lot of fun too. Here's some pictures. The first one is of Camp Tisomus up in Rhinelander. And yeah, we're there for a week every year. It's a lot of fun. There's plenty of opportunities for stuff to do.
Very large kids to it last year. I think it was a bigger group this year.
Yeah, we had a very large group of scouts come there last year. And yeah, we're gonna also have a big group of scouts come this year. The second picture is our group of older scouts at the top of a 14er in Colorado last year. It was a really difficult hike, but the views at the top were amazing. And this picture right here is of us whitewater rafting in Colorado on the same trip. Oh, okay. Actually, we did go whitewater rafting in Colorado, but that's us whitewater rafting in Wisconsin, which we're gonna do this month too. And that's always a lot of fun because usually someone ends up in the water. And then the last picture is this is at the same place as Camp Tisomus, but it's in the winter. And what we do there every year is we build snow shelters and then spend the night in them. And that's the morning after taking pictures with all the snow shelters. Yep.
So service work. Our troop regularly volunteers for community service work, usually within Madison, but sometimes on outings and stuff, we'll do it there as well. Last month, during an Earth Day camping trip, the troop helped plant a lot of trees at a state park. I forget which one. Governor Dodge. And then, so this work includes a huge variety of things. Just a couple off the top of my head include helping at food shelters, planting trees, as I said, or building park structures, things like tables or archways. But it's been just a pretty much unlistable number of different things. And it's all stuff that we do for free for a few hours. Just what? It's all stuff that we do for free just to help out the community around. And it's a good experience for us too. I couldn't actually find any easily available pictures of said service work, but this is some of us helping out at a flag ceremony at Camp Tisomus.
So gendering, our troop is accepting of all gender identities, and the BSA is less so. Girl troops are usually separate entities from the more standard boy ones, but it's still good that they now exist in the first place. They hold a binary view of gender, making transgender or non-binary individuals have a much harder time fitting in, and Cub Scouts is less gendered. So our troop, we are still made up of mostly male scouts, but hopefully soon we can have it can be more diverse if we have people who join the troop. Are we allowed to? Here's Mr. Schultz, our Scoutmaster.
Being allowed to in the BSA is kind of a loaded question. The short answer is 3 years ago, I guess, December of 2020, the BSA took on an initiative of diversity, inclusion, and equity, much to the chagrin of older scouters in the BSA. Part of the reason behind that program is to first identify that the BSA has a problem of not including all within its community. And the broader term of this program is to get scouts interested and acknowledging that we need to do a better job of including all within the BSA. That being said, our troop and some of our packs in the community tend to buck the system a little bit. I'm a former Cub Master for Pack 302. Before girls were even allowed into the BSA program, our pack was one of the few in the country that said, you know what, girls are cool, we're going to allow them. And yeah, part of that is Madison, but a lot of it's parent driven as well. So we try to hear the message that the parents want and follow through with that. And it's not just our pack. There was another organization, Queen of Peace, just down the road here. They did not agree with what Bishop Merlino was saying at the time for including girls, and they too bucked the system. So it's not just us, it's others, which is good.
Would you like questions along the way, or would you like people to wait until there's an official question time?
I will defer to my scouts on that.
I think questions along the way is fine, just because each slide is a different topic. So if you have one, feel free to ask.
So I'd like to understand, are you saying that there are some girls who are Girl Scouts and there are some girls who join the Boy Scouts and have a girls group in the Boy Scouts?
Yes.
Wow. That's a new idea for me. That's why I wanted to ask that.
BSA's official policy is that we have independent troops within a chartered organization. So a chartered organization in this case is Midvale Community Church, and they're our charter. Every troop or pack throughout the BSA has a chartered organization. Doesn't necessarily have to be a church. It can be a parent led group, or it can be other types of groups out there. But BSA's official stance is that separate but equal troops within a chartered organization. We tend to view it a little more broadly and loosely.
I think what I would say, I think there is a role for for youth in single gender, as well as for co-ed. And I'm aware that MBSA already had co-ed programming. So which is kind of why, I mean, look, I'm a lifelong Girl Scout, so I kind of reacted negatively when BSA, hey, girls join troops, because I'm just gonna be honest, I've partly felt that it was them trying to, instead of wrestle with some of the real problems of, well, I'm going to say LGBTQ inclusion to be one, and just kind of paper over it by, we'll get new kids in by, well, opening it up to half of the other rest of the country, rather than trying to really look at the program and how do you make it what is more, I mean, not everyone wants to camp. And so that's a lot of, I mean, I'd imagine you'd get a lot more people if it wasn't so outdoor structured. And I mean, I'm not saying you guys, I'm sure, love to camp and it's great for you, but then having other groups that could be more focused on doing other stuff is different. And, maybe, if someone wants just to do crafts and art and stuff, whereas you wouldn't really be able to do that in your programming. And that's not maybe what you guys want to do. And that's great because we're all different, but allowing more of an open structure, I think. I mean, I don't think there would be anything right now. I mean, I think they would say that they would want to work with you to do like co-ed programming. And I mean, there's the Worldwide Scouting, which is a little more co-ed too. to be honest. Like, well, most countries. But I think I think the idea of the same, kind of allowing girls to be away from guys and guys away from girls, because there are different needs at different times, and then to join to do like a camp or like a like a service type stuff. I mean, so I guess that's my diatribe. Sorry.
Appropriation. So yeah, for almost a century, many BSA practices have been based on those of the First Nations. Yeah, most of them aren't really accurate. They're like pretty stereotypical, they're exaggerated, and they're like completely misrepresentations. For example, at like Tisomas, they have like a ceremony where they dress up as like stereotypical Indians. And you can tell it's not really accurate. It's like long ago, the Great Spirit united the 5 tribes. It's like, it's kind of, yeah, you can tell it's like not based in any like accurate facts about any of the First Nations. People have been advocating for change for decades, but it's actually being considered more recently. Our troop is generally against these like racist stereotypes, and we've taken some action. Like we're kind of like no longer in the Order of the Arrow because of that. So yeah.
Okay, so
I think it'd be fascinating to ask the people in the audience to raise their hand if they were in scouts when any scouts. Yeah, see, that's interesting because it's fascinating for us as people who've been scouts to think things have changed and to be aware of how they've changed. Do the Campfire Girls still exist? They do. Wow. Interesting. Okay. At some point, you don't need to do this now, but I'd love to hear each of you say, I wish more people my age knew this about the Scouts, because I think we only know what we know and we don't know what we don't know. And you know some things about Scouts that a lot of individuals your age don't know. So I'd be curious, you don't have to do this right now, but at some point, if you'd pause and say, I wish more kids my age knew this or experienced this. This is really, this preparation is terrific. Keep going.
I just want to say, I think Campfire Girls is now just Campfire, and I think it's co-ed.
Well, since we're asking, does something still exist? Do the brownies still exist? Okay, all right.
Yeah, brownies are part of, it's the first level of Girl Scouts. Everybody's Girl Scouts. Oh no, daisies. I forget. Daisies. Daisies are the youngest now. It's new. So
okay, so there are some other issues that I couldn't necessarily fit into an entire slide. So first of all is conservatism. Many of the members of BSA across the country tend to be particularly conservative, which usually goes against some of the other things we outlined, such as issues with gender or racism. And it's an issue that I believe is slowly being addressed by the BSA, but very slowly. They've made some programs to address things like diversity and inclusion, including a new merit badge, citizenship and society, which is pretty much entirely about that. Yeah.
Are the Mormons still
as involved as they used to be?
I do not know.
That used to be the official youth program of the Mormon Church, which really swung the whole BSA program.
Really briefly, when the BSA decided to include girls, the Mormon factions decided BSA is no longer for us. So they have split. They've got their own program now, and BSA continues to do its inclusion methods.
But yeah, as I was saying, I think the biggest issue for conservatism is the biggest step forward is the Citizenship in Society merit badge, which is only like a year or 2 years old, and it is an Eagle required one, which means that all scouts that wish to achieve Eagle must get it. And it focuses on topics of diversity, inclusion, and discrimination in society, and involves a lot of writing projects and like deep research. So I believe that will help address issues that pertain to those things. As for gun safety, we live in a country where that is a huge issue, but the BSA at pretty much every camp of theirs takes significant steps to ensuring gun safety. It's a long list, but there are age restrictions, handling restrictions, and just overall a lot of requirements to ensure that nothing goes wrong when it comes to shooting sports and scouts. Religion, they've tried to make steps for it, but BSA is still at a lot of their programming, even that like about religion in general, is still very Christianity focused. I've noticed, though I have seen things recently, such as posters and stuff that are for other religions. I want to say at one camp there was one for Buddhism, I think, which I think is very interesting and a good step forward. And then sexual abuse. I have not done much research into this myself, but I know that it happens a lot at camps and in troops, and I think it's an issue that needs to be talked more about. I couldn't find too much from a quick search, which is a problem given that it does happen.
I'll speak a little bit more on the sexual abuse. So as with a lot of youth-oriented organizations, there can be a problem with exploitation of those youths. And BSA is no exception to that. Historically, there has been widespread abuse within the BSA, unfortunately. I guess the good news is that the BSA had a lot of years of litigation. They lost a number of lawsuits and have had to acknowledge that there were abuses within the BSA program. To that end, a lot of changes have happened within the organization. There are now mandatory youth protection requirements that adult leaders have to take every 2 years. And it helps handle and alleviate some of these opportunities where predation from adults can occur. Because of the litigations, BSA had recently had to file for bankruptcy. They had to sell off a lot of properties, camps and whatnot, to handle the costs of that litigation. But they are now financially strong and continuing their message of keeping kids safe.
John Langsdorff, I'd like to speak to youth protection is done by age groups. In other words, you do youth protection for Cub Scouts, which is different than what it is for Boy Scouts, to venturing, to exploring. Each level has its own youth protection because it's different. We practice 2 deep leadership and have for this troop for years and years. 2 deep leadership is that there's at least 2 adults at any one time. We're never one-on-one with a boy or a girl. And that way we protect ourselves as well as a child. If you end up and you're transporting a single child, they go in the back seat away from you to protect the adult as well as the child. There's all kinds of things that did happen. We are very fortunate in Glacier Edge Council that when this came down and they were counting the number of lawsuits, that we were on the bottom of the pile, not the bottom, but the bottom 2/3, which meant that we had to sell off less property. Some council had to give up everything and join another one to even exist. Right now, they're very stable and funding is coming. It was a good reorganization because we were a little top heavy on the professionals, and they are, our council exec right now came out of National, a wonderful leader.
Thank you very much. And then this is the final slide. So thank you for listening to our presentation, and I hope that parts of it interest you. And if there are any other questions, feel free to ask them at this time.
Of you in high school then?
The four of us are,
Okay,
yes.
so are you all in the same school?
Yep.
So you, which school at,
All of us go to West High School.
so is there a atmosphere at West that makes it more comfortable for some of these issues than maybe other places?
Generally, yes. West is at least trying to significantly address issues such as discrimination, homophobia, and racism. I don't know about other schools in the city, but West at least is making significant steps for it.
Would you please tell us about some of the merit badges that you work on? There's so many new ones and they're so great.
All right. I'm gonna use Kieran's sash as a demonstration. So we get these merit badges at campouts. Somas, our summer camp is where we get most of them. Can take up to 4 per week. Well, it's a year, but like in a week you can get up to 4 merit badges. And so the ones with the white circles, I don't know if you guys can all see them, the ones with the white outline around them, those mean that they're Eagle required. So you have to get those in order to get Eagle. And the ones with the green ones are elective badges. So there's a whole range of different merit badges you can choose from. I think that's game design, reptile and amphibians, snow sports. There's a ton, and you need to have 21 total and 6. How many have to be elected? Oh, only 4 have to be elected. So there are 17 badges that everybody has to get. And most of them are very fun. Personal fitness, I haven't done it, but I can't imagine that's very fun. Yeah. So some of them, most of them, when we go to our summer camp, you sign up for them in advance. People who are going have already signed up for them this year. And personal fitness, I know, has lots of prerequisites where you need to do things in advance before you go to the camp in June. And so for personal fitness, you have to log for 3 months your activity every day. And you're supposed to do half-hour a day or an hour a day. Yeah. So there's different prerequisites and it makes it fun. And in our troop, we have merit badge workshops, and just in the past couple of months, we went to Oshkosh and did our aviation merit badge. A whole big group of us drove down to up to Oshkosh, not over, yeah. And got the aviation merit badge, and that was very cool. We got to see went and looked at the museum, and we got to build some planes and learn about aviation. And that was really cool. So the merit badges offer a great opportunity for us to get to know other troops in our patrol, but also at bigger camps, other kids in our troop, and at camps, other kids not in our troop.
Do you interact with other troops here in Madison?
Not as much in Madison, really. The most we really have is at crossover ceremonies where there are Cub Scouts coming to our patrol or our troop. There will sometimes be scouts from the same pack of Cub Scouts going to another Boy Scout troop. And that's really the extent that we've had. Oh yeah, sometimes we do camporees. And there's like 4 or 5 troops in like at the same campground. And when we have more merit badge opportunities, and we do a whole bunch of games, and there's one year we did like a treasure hunt, I think, or what was it? Yeah, we like went around to a whole bunch of these different stations, and the camp counselors were there, and it was really fun. Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit more between the troops, patrols, packs, things? I don't quite understand those levels.
Yeah, sorry. So in the Boy Scouts, there is the overall troop. So for us, that's Troop 104. And then in the troop, there are adult leaders, and then there are scout leaders, and we have patrols. So of our 33 scouts, we have 4 patrols right now. It's been different the last couple of weeks because we've had scuba training. So it's been a condensed group of leaders and kids. Scuba training is for the high adventure. A lot of the who are you going on, Kieran? Hugh's going. Emerson, you're not going. So they are all going to go flying down to Florida, and they're going to go scuba diving in the Keys, right? Yeah. So they are getting their scuba certification. And just last night they were swimming. They were doing their training until past 11 at night. Yep. And one of my brothers is doing that, and he got home very late. And I just didn't know where it was. So we have the patrols, which are made up of patrol leaders and different scouts of different ranks, different ages, like everything. In my patrol, I'm a patrol leader. I have the patch. I have 2 8th graders, and then I have a 5th grader, and I probably have a couple of high schoolers. I'm not sure. It's kind of been a mess. But so then in our patrols, we each have different, not everybody, but some people have different positions. So Rowan, you're also a patrol leader, right? Kieran, are you in a position? Are you the web? Kieran is the scribe. So when we have our green bars, Kieran is in charge of writing down all the information and sending an email out to everybody. Yeah. And sending all the information about what the following 2.5 months of meetings are going to look like, and what the events are. And then there's a quartermaster. I got the name right this time. Quartermaster, they are in charge of keeping the storeroom area clean. And we have a librarian and a webmaster. And yeah, we have a whole bunch of different. Ooh. Yeah, I don't have my patch. I lost my patch. Yeah, we are. That is. Yeah, Rowan, what's your patrol? The Colonial Muskrats. Yeah. I don't know. So we find these. Yeah, we find the patches. Yeah, my patrol is the dumpster fire patrol. It's literally a dumpster. Our patch is a dumpster that's on fire. I lost mine. But so we pick. Yeah, exactly. So we pick out these patches, and patrols have names and yells, and supposed to have yells, supposed to have flags. Yeah. And then the packs are the Cub Scout packs. So that is kids that are in elementary school, kindergarten to 5th grade. Yeah. And if they would like to continue scouting, they are welcome in our troop. And so they have it's a similar structure. Yes. They have dens that are adult led, usually by a parent. Yep, organized by age.
Can you, the mic?
Yep.
Sorry.
The dens are for each grade. So kindergarten will have one den. Tigers, lions, first graders are tigers, then bears, then wait, what? Lions, tigers, bears. Third graders are wolves. Oh, second graders are wolves. I don't remember. It was a long time since I was in Cub Scouts. It's been 6 years. And then there's Weeblos, and then Weeblos Arrow of Light. So I don't have it on here, do I? Oh yeah. The only patch that you're able to bring over from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts is the Arrow of Light patch, which I have right here. And it shows that you completed Cub Scouts and you went through that. And did you? Yeah, did you? Yeah, all 4 of us have. I couldn't see it. So yeah. Any other questions?
I was just curious if the nuclear engineering department's still doing their merit badge sessions on campus for the whatever the nuclear science badge is called. Sorry, I don't know what it's called.
Oh yeah. I do recall that our troop organized like we were gonna do the nuclear engineering merit badge, and like as a troop through the university, but this was in like February of 2020, so we didn't end up doing it.
I actually did do the nuclear science merit badge, like I think it was pre-pandemic, like 2019 or something. I don't know if the university is still doing it. Do you? All right, so yeah, we saw like a little particle accelerator. We saw I should remember more. We learned about like yeah, I think we did. We saw like we learned about like alpha and beta particles. They gave us like a little piece of uranium ore, and we put like a Geiger counter up to it, and it beeped faster. What else did we do? This is a long time ago, but yeah, I remember doing this merit badge with our troop at UW.
Though, as fun as all of that stuff is, and as much as I would have liked to do it, it isn't actually necessary for nuclear science merit badge. Rowan and I did it at Tasoma, sitting in a tent in the middle of the forest.
Probably while it was raining.
I don't think it was raining very much.
Thanks. Does Camp Castle Rock still exist? What happened to it?
Sell it.
Oh, I didn't think they could. I thought they had to send it back to the.
Jocelyn, Ed Bryant still exists. The camp at Janesville got sold to the county. Ed Bryant is still alive and well. We lost the property at Woodman Center. Yeah, so we're down to actually one major property in the scout office. And some of that was by design, that the number of troops that we have, this area used to have a troop on every street corner, and we're down to about 3. It's a sad situation. When troops get too large, we're going to have another problem because we're going to have new units. But with the new scout exec, Camp Ed Bryant is up and running. Yes, it will be for any Boy Scout. They can. A troop can choose what camp they want to go to. If these boys decided they wanted to go to Camp Phillips, they could. If they wanted to go Ed Bryant, if they wanted to go to Three Bears, there are more scout camps in this state than we have troops. Illinois has a lot of property that's up here. They did have to sell some, more than we did, but Scouting is coming back.
This is a yes, no question. There used to be a God and Country patch. Is there still one that anybody's aware of? Here's my other question. I would say that Girl Scout cookies are, well, Girl Scout cookies are really well known and people are on the lookout for when somebody comes. Are the Boy Scouts, or is your group, should we be on the lookout for you selling
Yes.
Christmas wreaths
Yes,
or?
exactly. Christmas
Tell
wreaths.
us more.
Yes, well, every year. Oh, my dad is actually in charge of this, so I actually have to do this. My dad is in charge of selling he manages the wreath sales every year. So in about October, just before Halloween time, we'll get our forms. They're basically the same forms every year. We might be switching providers this year. It's been kind of a mess the last few years with our provider. And my dad's getting fed up with it. But so yeah, we get our forms and Scouts go door to door, make phone calls to families, friends, and sell Christmas wreaths. And then around like November 20th, 25th, we have a huge wreath unloading at Westtown Mall, over in a vacant lot. The big semi truck comes, and our troop is in charge of unloading all the wreaths. And all the wreaths are not only for our troop. We unload wreaths for other troops as well. So we get a part of the proceeds we get extra money back from the wreath company. And that goes into our troops account or our Scouts account to help fund for campouts. So we unload all the wreaths. It's usually a full semi truck full of wreaths. And then throughout the day, up until we get there about 7 or 8, we get there, unload all the wreaths, have them organized, and then bunch of it's not only Scout troops, but like there have been swim teams, gymnastic teams, other organizations will come, but some Scout troops as well will come and pick up their order of wreaths as well. So it's another way that we get. It's not service hours, is it? Service hours counts as service hours. So it's another way we do service work. We could. I think we will keep that in mind. We will keep that in mind. Yeah, Miss Ferguson is very good at selling for scouting.
Just so you church members know, the wreaths that hang on the outside of the building are furnished by the Scout troop. The church actually owns this Scout troop. They hold our charter. Ben is our institutional rep. He gets to vote on council and on district events. He's our go-between, our pastors and church council. So really, we are owned by the church. We're your troop. We're your outreach. If you would come on a Monday night and see the number of families and children that come into our building, it would just surprise you.
And we are very thankful for being able to have this amazing space every Monday night provided by the church, so that we can have a meeting every week. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's been here. I've been in the troop 6 years, almost 7. Or no, 5, almost 6. And we've been here the whole time, and it's been great the whole time. Yeah.
Quick note about the wreaths. They do not taste as good as Girl Scout cookies.
Just to, he'll be here all day. Or they will be here all day. Quick clarification on the God and Country merit badge. It's no longer a merit badge. It's actually an award based. It's an emblem that you can wear based on your religious beliefs. And if Elise was here, she could definitely give you more information on that. She is our troop's chaplain. And what's that? I know. But so part of her job is to sit down with some of the scouts that want to pursue their beliefs and get work towards getting that religious emblem. It's something that the scouts can kind of put up in this area of their patches. And you know, we have a couple of scouts that are working on their religious awards right now. And our troop, we're non-denominational. Some of us are agnostic. Some of us are Catholic. Some of us are recovering Catholics. I tend to use that myself. Obviously we have some church members here. And so we work with all.
Are there any other questions? Oh,
Not so much a question, but more of a comment. Firstly, thank you for being here. Secondly, being in the archives, I'm thinking I've learned more about our troop in this session than I've learned in the past 60 years or however long we've been chartered. And so I think periodically, speaking to us, the church, we need to put some of these things in the community. I mean, like about the wreaths, about, when we were chartered, and maybe it's happened periodically, but I can't say that I've seen it. And the fact that you're involved and that Elise is the chaplain, we all need to know those things. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
In our newsletter. Mhm.
we are here to help if you guys would like.
Yeah, and I'm Ben Uphoff. I have been talking to Pastor Blake about how we can do more outreach within the church. This is one of those things that we set up. So we're trying to get more exposure because, like John said, you come in on a Monday, it's a really vibrant, loud, exciting place. It's great to see, and we want everybody here to see that as well. So so we are working that. I want to get some newsletters. You must not have read my blurb in the annual report. But I think, we need to do a better job than a blurb, and we'll keep doing that. So yeah, ongoing work in progress. And the chaplain position is new, and Elise found out about that and jumped right on it, and we're excited about that. We've turned over a lot of the leadership within the troop in the last 2 years. There have been some amazing stewards. I think Mr. Schultz is only the how many? Fifth, sixth?
He's the 7th scoutmaster of this troop.
7
in 65 plus years.
Yeah. So we've had really good, consistent leadership, and that's been passed on to us, and we will continue to be good stewards.
Of course. Thank you for having us. Final questions or?
Oh, yeah, just maybe one other idea, Ben, is I think the congregation could probably be a source of merit badge counselors for certain things, assuming my son is 22, so he's recently a scout and they had merit badge counselors. So I assume you still have that, but that might be another way to engage with members of the congregation.
That would be awesome. Yep. We're always looking for merit badge counselors. Mr. Langsdorf.
Merit badge counselors have to be registered, which is a good thing. Youth protection, and once again, it's critical.
Oh, what's our favorite merit badge? Oh, how about Felix goes first?
Favorite one I've done is definitely the small boat sailing. That's like I learned how to sail pretty much. I mean, I kind of knew, but like not really before. So yeah, we went sailing like almost, it was at Somis. We went sailing out on the lake. Yeah, we had to flip them over, like go under the thing, stick up the dagger board, and then like leverage it back up. We were on sunfish, so it wasn't that hard. Yeah, we got to go like we got to race them. We had like a fight with the dudes on the kayaks. I like got to like jump off and then like flip over a kayak while I was in the water and get back on. That was really fun. So definitely my favorite one I've actually done. Rowan?
My favorite mirror badge was the cycling mirror badge. You can do it either way. You can like cycle or you can like mountain bike to like complete the mirror badge. I did like the mountain biking. I've been mountain biking for a very long time. So it was a lot of fun for me to do.
My favorite merit badge was probably game design. I'm an aspiring programmer and video game designer, and the merit badge itself was more focused on like physical like board games and stuff, but a lot of the principles of designing good and balanced gameplay, especially stuff about play testing and iteration, still apply, and I still remember and use to this day. And it was just really informative and fun to just sit down for a week, design a board game, and test it.
I refute what Rowan said about cycling being fun. I did the road biking part of it, and I did not eat breakfast before I went. And we went on like a 22-mile bike ride, and I was so hungry, and all I got to eat was a granola bar. But I made it. I did it. I still bike today. My favorite one that I have done is shotgun shooting. All of the I mean, I don't know if we have an opportunity to do shooting sports outside of Camp Somas, but I did my shooting sports, shotgun and rifle shooting at Camp Somas. And it's the whole week 2 days we spend learning about safety, learning about the firearms and how to use them. And then you have to try and get a score. So out of 25 clay pigeons, I think you have to hit 18 out of 25 twice. And I did that with my friend Henry Coleman, who's not in the troop anymore, but yeah, it was a good time. Camp Somas is always a good time. It's very fun. Any final questions?
I just want to say that my wife and I should have had merit badges for what we did when we were school teachers when we first graduated after coming out of Concordia. And so in the summers, we had time to bike. And the first summer we rode from Chicago up to Door County and back. And then the second year, we went from Chicago to Washington, D.C. and took Amtrak back.
Wow.
And then another year, the following year, we went to Europe we pedaled for 22 days with 44 other people.
Oh my
And
goodness.
they moved us from different places.
Yeah, that's nothing like ours. That was a lot more. I actually probably should not have complained about them. Yeah.
And then after that, we had kids and that took care of the bikes for a while.
It's okay. Have to teach them how to bike. That's cool. Yeah, of course. Thank you for having us. You guys are always welcome to I know you guys are always welcome to drop in on a Monday night, and if you